Forward to the cloud.
There we go.
Nice. I don't know what I was saying. I was like, oh yeah, this was the masterpiece. And his hat, I'll have to go look at this other one, but I thought that this painting was in the Philadelphia Museum of Art. So either he did like two versions that are very similar, but the book that I have, maybe, yeah, I guess it is in Philadelphia. The book that I have doesn't tell you what museum collection it's in, and this book is called Van Gogh's Van Gogh, and it's old, and I mean I don't know, it's not one of my classic Van Gogh books, but some of the images are really big, and so anyway, so it's a good book, but his hat is painted exactly like one of his starry nights. So there's like starry nights, starry sky, and then there's like stars at night or something. So the way that it's painted is it's almost like it's a miniature of that landscape painting, that nocturnal landscape painting. It was like it's like he had all the paints mixed up, and so he's like, well, I guess I'll just give him a blue hat, and he paints it exactly the same way. It almost feels like it's a you see like there's like a little landscape down here.
So
and then
what
like
is that big
and there's
crease?
like trees.
What does that mean? I'm not sure. It looks like a tear in the hat or something.
I mean, I think he's actually painting. I think he painted one of his paintings on the hat, which is an idea, which is obviously a totally original idea. Like no one's ever written about it or anything. But like when I looked at it, I'm like, oh, he just painted Starry Night, but on the hat. So anyway, we can look a little bit. It's the exact same color scheme. It's the exact same, paint stroke. But I even have another. I mean, I must. Maybe downstairs. I mean, obviously downstairs, but it's in the stack. Have you guys seen my library? Oh, you haven't yet. I'll have to take you down and show you my library. It's so cool. Like, so I turned the basement into my library, and it looks
nice,
like a library. Yeah, I haven't. No, there's only been like 3 people that have seen it. It's really interesting, this suburban life. Like, I used to have people in my house all the time, like friends, people would sleep over, people, you know what I mean? Like, I had people coming in and out of my house, and like I moved out to the county, and like no one comes over. I think I need to I mean, not that they don't, but I don't. I mean, maybe I need to start inviting people. Yeah, maybe I'll invite some people over to see it. My friends that come from out of town, they see it, but I don't know. There's something weird about living in the county. It's like kind of isolating. It's nice, but it's not like it used to be. It might be Kristen too.
It's kind of a popular thing on Facebook right now. People are posting pictures of, look at my library. So
really?
I follow people who like to read books. And then they'll post, oh, you got to read this book. It's so great. Look at my reading corner. And then they'll show you a little section of where they built a miniature library.
Oh my gosh.
So now everybody's trying to.
Is it called something? Like, is the group called, like, or is there a hashtag associated with it? Like, hashtag check out my cool library.
Yeah, I'll see if I can find it, because you should take a picture of yours and post it.
Yeah, I know. I would love to get some. I'd like to get some cred, some street cred on my library. Yeah. Wow. So Van Gogh, Van Gogh's been just crazy. It's just amazing. I'm gonna start crying. So check out these photos. I probably shouldn't show you the girl. I can show you from a distance. This is like her dress or whatever. She's got these like henna tattoos. So this is the age, and then this is her aunt and uncle. Oh, actually, no, those are her parents. She was being married. His brother was getting married.
I was gonna say, she looks a little young.
Yeah, no, she's not getting married.
Yeah.
Her uncle's getting married. Okay, so
Oh.
yeah, this is I can show you this one.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
This little sketch. And
Very nice.
and everything that I was explaining, like, do you see the connection? I mean, probably you'll see it deeper. I see it because I was just working on it yesterday, but the vantage point is basically reversed. So, and you can't even see it. I'm not even doing it like that, a very good job on my own picture. But her head, in the way that this guy's head is turned to, our left. So he's turned to our left, his right. So you're seeing more on this side of his head, and then he's looking back centered. So he actually is looking straight out. So he's got, almost equal sclera on either side. And then her head is turned to the right. So there's more on this side of her head than the eyebrow ridge here. So there's this very narrow distance between her eyebrow ridge and the sideburns versus the eyebrow ridge here, and then the sideburns that start over here. Now I shaded a little bit and the colors will change, but this is like a much bigger distance. And then, so her head is turned to our right, her left, and then she's looking back. So if you look at the size of the sclera, so the sclera, or the white of the eye, is big on the inside, narrow, small on the inside, big on the outside here. And then, so the left side is small, right side is big, left side is small, right side is big. So she's
noticed that right away.
Back. And so that, but then, her head is looking almost straight at us, where on, this guy, his head is tilted forward. We're actually seeing a lot more of the top of the head, almost, and that might be why he even, added a hat to this guy. I don't know whether the kid was wearing a hat. Something tells me that he wasn't wearing a hat, and that Van Gogh like added the hat on. We'll kind of figure that out, because usually, and then there's this other self-portrait in here that he plays it up like in the same way that we were looking at Monet last week, how he loves painting what's in the shadows. I mean, if we looked 2 weeks ago, he's always he's like totally excited about the shadow spaces, and Van Gogh was doing that too. I couldn't believe how much, as I was looking at this book, having looked at Monet, how much Van Gogh wanted to be like Monet. Where are these self-portraits? I guess they're not that far away. Wow, I don't think I've seen that one. I haven't studied this one. 1890, this is one of the last ones. Oh my gosh, we'll have to come back to that one. And this was the last painting here. Okay, I have it taped up. So this was the one I was going to make everybody do. And then but then right when I have to like I formulate the argument why we should do something, I'm like, nope, we shouldn't do it then. Because if I have to make a case for why we should do it, maybe it's not the best move. Wait till you see this face. You're going to die. Is that not the funniest baby you've ever seen in your whole life?
I have seen babies like that.
Did he? I know. I'm related to babies like this. He struggled with babies so bad. There's another one that's in the Philadelphia Museum of Art that is just absurd. The colors are absurd. The drawing is absurd. Everything's absurd. I think this is delightful. I mean, the pudgy cheeks are wonderful. I mean, he's really, he's crushing it. I mean, there's not like the weird part is the position of the pupils. Look at the left eye. The position of the pupil is very not centered, and she gets this like googly eye kind of look. But I don't know. I mean, I love the background color. It's like that soft mint green, and those bright red lips. I guarantee you the baby looked exactly like this, which is funny. Anyway, I'm not going to make everybody do this. I wanted to do a piece that was not necessarily naturalism. I think that's if you look at the naturalistic colors, oh, and then that's another thing. Look at the it's like there's some things that some artists just never learned. And it's not that Van Gogh didn't learn it, he just for some reason didn't do it on here. Look at the eyebrows. You see how there's like eyebrows, they are almost feel like they're painted on.
Yeah, that's the first thing I noticed.
You need to have a transition. Like you need to have a color that's like the color of the eyebrows and the color of the skin. And I guess his argument might have been that like the eyebrows are already peach colored, you know, they're already skin toned. They're not even like, it's not like a real, you know, hair color, but still like there needs to be like a little transition. Now he doesn't make the same mistake on our guy here. You know, like you can see the gray, you can see that green undertone, and then he puts the hair on top of it. So there is sort of a transition there, especially on the left eyebrow. But we'll get into that. But the reason I wanted to choose this one is because with colors, all bets are off. It's not like we have to, I mean, he has warm in the cheeks, you know, he's got blue in the eyes, but like there's greens and there's yellows and there's oranges and there's reds. The colors are all, and there's so many greens. So with the colors being kind of not naturalistic, we don't have to conform in our own kind of color choices with the color pencils. So I like that it's a little bit off the chain here. And you know, the hat being keyed in red and the green, yellow, green, blue. I mean, he's just got a nice kind of color, you know, assortment of colors with the jacket and the hat and the face in the background. Anyway, so this is the, oh no. Okay, sorry, it blurred for a second. I got somebody in the chat. Is that Stacy? Chat. Oh yeah, Stacy. The ears, we're gonna get there. The ears are very pointy, aren't they? It looks a little elven, but you know, it's just like with the ears, you have the opportunity for the roundness, but the hat cuts off the opportunity. So if you're going to build those ears with straight lines, then it's almost like the viewer's eye implies that the rest of it's going to be straight lines. So like, even though they're not pointy ears at the top, like an elf, they certainly read like it. So interesting. But Van Gogh does understand ears, which is really nice. In a way that poor Henri Lautrec did not. Okay, so what was I going to show you over here? I wanted to show you the, I just wanted to show this one self-portrait where he's wearing a hat. I'll make it so we can see what I'm seeing. So here you go, look at this one. I thought it was a sketch, but this is actually a finished painting. He just really utilizes the canvas and the space between. But look at the shadow under his eyes.
Yeah.
And I wonder if his paintings did start off like this, or if this is just, you know, a little rabbit hole that he went down and was like, okay, that's good. Because it doesn't feel, you know, the background is all solid. I mean, I don't think it's unfinished. I think it is finished. It's just tremendous economy and brushstroke. He might have been trying to prove something, you know, to himself. Anyway, he talks about, there's this letter where he's talking about reading the Bible. Like he actually was telling Bernard, his painter friend. Was that on you guys or me? Did you hear a beep?
Sorry, that's the noise my driveway makes when the car comes down.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Sorry.
Do you remember when I set the fire alarm off?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm still kind of somewhat traumatized from that. But the alarm, I do need to run down and give my doggy a pill. So I'm going. What do you guys want to wait 3 minutes looking at a portrait of Van Gogh, or you want to do a landscape? Here, I'll set everyone's mind at ease with a calm Van Gogh landscape, and I got to give Bella her pill, and I'll be right back. Okay. Okay. Enjoy. You can make sounds of the ocean.
Wish I was there.
Didn't we draw this one?
We drew one really similar to this.
Yeah.
Yep. Only it It had some land in the background, remember, in the far, and little tiny
Yeah.
buildings. And it was
Oh,
a
yeah.
little stormier looking or something.
Mhm.
I remember working on Stormy Seas.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think we did it in charcoal or something, because I was looking at mine the other day and thinking, wow, this is dark.
Mm. Do you think he is thinking of doing the little boy in color?
Well, the first thing he said to me was, do you have your colored pencils out? And I
Oh,
kind of
wow.
went, oh, shoot. So
Gulp.
we'll see about that. I'm not a big fan. I don't think I have the best colored pencils, so that's probably why.
Yeah, the water lilies was really something.
The problem is I can sketch with colored pencils, but you can't really erase it.
Yeah.
And I erase a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. I always erase my very first mark. Isn't that terrible?
No, it sounds like me.
Well,
So
it
do you
was
guys
Van
have-
Gogh. It was a Van Gogh sketch.
That we did? Which one? Show us.
Oh, wow. Look at that. I do remember that.
But there were
Yes,
more
yes.
boats. Yeah, there were 3 or 4 boats.
Yep, it's all coming back to me now.
Mm.
A year ago.
Aw,
Oh,
Hey, Miss Bellas.
hello there.
what's going on with your pup? Is he sick?
Yeah, she's got Cushing's disease.
Hmm.
She's like
Oh,
a little unstable.
how old is she? She's young.
No, she's old.
Oh, she's old.
She's like 15.
She doesn't
Wow.
look old.
I know. Hello, Bellas. She's deaf too.
Oh,
Yeah, I've been there.
And stinky. What a beautiful stinky smell. Were you guys sketching this?
No, we
Mm.
were remembering an older Van Gogh that we did on
yeah,
the wall.
with closer up boats.
Yeah, check out. So there's this
Adele just showed us hers. Show it again,
Can I
Adele.
see it
Show
again?
Trevor. This is what we sketched, Trevor.
Hang on.
I think I remember.
You'll remember when you see it. Remember that one?
I do. Yeah, that's awesome.
Awesome.
That is awesome. I got this new Hocus Slide book. And everybody talks about,
Yeah,
everybody talks about Japanese prints.
yes.
you
Can
know,
we do a
impact-
hokusai again?
Yeah. Here's this beautiful cherry blossom though. I think it's a cherry blossom.
Yeah.
Must be
The plum
gorgeous.
flowering plum trees. So in here, let me find it. There's a I hadn't realized that look at that cedar tree. How Van Gogh is that?
Yeah.
But speaking of the boats and the waves, so look at look at those boats up there. Those are
Nice.
like Van Gogh's distant boats.
Mm-hmm.
What was the other thing? Is it the distant Mount Fuji? So there's some garden rocks. All right, it's coming up. Look at this one. This is a double block of these waves. Let me pull that down. How insane is that?
Cool.
I think it's so gorgeous. Yeah, it's just that this one kind of blew my mind. Can you see all of it? I guess you can't see all of it. There we go. My God. I mean, as an abstraction and as a composition. Really good. And then I made this other cute connection. Let me show you this one. So Hokusoi did this whole page of blind people. portraits of the blind, all around. And like, I don't know if he was like trying to record their traits, but it's a really beautiful arrangement of little portraits. There they are. Okay, so check this out. So there's these are, a double plate of these various blind people in Japan. And then there's one in particular, which I'm wondering if Van Gogh had seen this. You see this lady that's got one eye open and one eye closed, and then there's this guy that's got one eye open and one eye closed. In this book, Van Gogh does a portrait of a guy with like, almost in a grotesque way, one eye open and the other eye closed. And I'm like, there's nothing, I can't like prove it necessarily, but it's such a bizarre portrait that I've never seen anybody else do it really. Jericho did, painted some, people from the insane asylum, so did Goya, but like nobody, this one is almost like comedic in the same way that these are kind of, I wouldn't call them comedic. They're not mocking, but they're I guess they're his own style. Let me show you this portrait. And then tell me what you think. I mean, I'm genuinely curious. All right, so here's this guy. So check out the angle. He's smoking a cigarette. He's got a hat on, but he's got this, it's called a one-eyed man, portrait of a one-eyed man. And like, maybe he did just come across somebody with, one eye that wanted to hang out and like sit for a portrait. But then when you put it in the context of these other portraits, and see if we can see them at the same time. I mean, even her in particular, it's like the angle is exactly the same. There's a collar. You can see the wrinkle in the neck. This eye is open, that eye is closed. She's got a hat on. He's got a hat on. It's almost cropped. It's almost cropped off the exact same way. I mean, he obviously makes it like French, but anyway, I mean, it might just be like not a thing, but just a random connection. But I thought it was interesting because there are there's like threads that, that run through Van Gogh that are like undisputable, the stylistic implementation that Van Gogh has. Wow. Here's a beautiful cherry blossom on the back cover. So fun. If I make it to next year, I think I'm definitely got to paint the cherry blossoms. Maybe I'll even practice this winter with my photos. And then there's another interesting case. Okay, I think we should get down to business. Adele, did you say you wanted to actually sketch the landscape? Before I was leaving, you were like, can we draw that? No? Okay.
I like that little boy.
He's going to be good. People need to learn how to, not you guys, but people need to need help drawing faces like so badly.
I need such help.
So yeah, and so this has just like applications to what's happening in real time, in the studio too, with those other lessons. Okay. All right. I'm not scared. I had a coach that told me like whenever you get butterflies, it's just your body preparing to perform well. I don't know if that's true, but I love it nonetheless. It's like these things that in life that are like, it doesn't matter if they're true or not, as long as they're helpful. You know what I mean? Like it may not be true, but it's definitely helpful to think that way. Yes.
Thinking of using an off sort of a yellowish background.
I would. I mean, yeah, I would. The only alternative I would say could even be better would to be use one that had like a green tinge, because the most neutral darks or the most neutral midtones in the picture seem to be like green, or lean toward neutral greens, not epic greens. I mean, the jacket's real green. The face has like neutral greens in there, and its complementary opposite of green is the orange. So these neutral greens, help set off these, red orange tones in the lips and the cheeks and stuff. Look at that. Look at the vibrations of that. I should let me put this picture in black and white, so we can have that as a so yeah, I'll keep you guys up on this portrait. It's going to be fun. We're gonna grid it out, actually. So we sketched it first, and then we're gonna print it and grid it, and do like make it super formal. I mean, I don't need to grid it, but gridding is a very helpful technique, especially when you're scaling up.
Yeah.
But even when you're just trying to get exact proportions, it's helpful. Okay. So the trick to this is that you want to duplicate it. So I don't know if you know how to do this, but you yeah, so you can duplicate, and you press this arrow button, and that thinks you want to send it. You give all these options, and just hit duplicate, and then the only annoying thing is that it puts it at the end now, which is fine. Okay, edit. Here are the options. So this is the photo editing options. These are where you can adjust the actual settings, the brightness, the color, the chroma. You could, just tone it down, but I found that when I turn my pictures, especially colorful pictures, paintings that I want in black and white, if you go to the standard setting and go all the way to the end, you have noir, silver tone, and monochromatic. And I found that the monochromatic is, more accurate. This lightens certain things. So the monochromatic just takes the exact same value structure and makes it like that. So let's see. So interesting. So interesting now. Yeah, the hat really does go dark. I'm trying to look at where, if that changes the jacket, the green is actually surprisingly dark. And the face is really light. All right. And that yellow is really light too. So that's an interesting thing. I would have put the yellow, because it's such a bold color, and the green is kind of toned down. It's kind of neutral as far as greens go. I would have almost put them in the same category in terms of strength. And if you look at the values, they're not really the same category. I mean, the green is way darker, more neutral, and the yellow is so light. So that's new. I mean, it's weird. I mean, I would even say that I'd say that the hat was a lot darker than the jacket. And yes, it does have a wider value range. The dark do go darker in the hat than in the jacket, but there's dark tones in the collar and then in the silhouetted edge. I love the silhouette. Whenever there's anybody that tries to tell you not to use a silhouette line, you just point to this painting. Like, yes, yeah, you're allowed to. Okay, cool.
Okay,
That's
so
fun.
which would you use, Trevor?
Oh my lord,
background would you use?
I would use the darker one.
Yeah,
I would use the darker one so that your yellows can pop out more.
yeah.
Because you won't be fighting you're not fighting the brightness. I mean, you're not fighting the bright, and you're gonna want the hat to stand out. These highlights on the shoulder, the highlights in the hat, the only way those are gonna pop out. And with color pencils, if you wanted the light to stand out, you'd have to color the whole hat blue and then put the lights on top. So I think the gray is going to work really well.
Yeah, it's a warm gray, so you can imagine some greenish tone in it.
Yes. All right, so let's let's see how we do. I think if we get the, I'm gonna try to do the drawing and think about it like a coloring book, and we'll get the line drawing. But the thing is, I'm gonna start with color pencils, so we don't make the same mistake. This is the trick the psychological trick about using color pencils, because instinctively you're going to want to use a graphite because it can erase so well and it's so familiar, but it will clash with the color pencil. So you can take like a nice light gray, when you're making your own drawing. So choose a gray that's like a pencil, so it feels like you're actually sketching with graphite, even though you're not. So yeah, that's one strategy that can help. Let me tape this thing back up so the baby doesn't sandwich. Okay, goes here. So we'll start in with this face, and then we'll move. We'll do the classic dance. We'll do the portrait dance, which is going to be the keystone to get those eyes separated properly, and then we'll do an eye in the right, eye in the left. From that eye, go up into the eyebrow ridge, back into the keystone. Then we'll go. We might even extend it a little bit wider just so we can see the width of the face. That might be nice, so we can see at least where the ears will probably begin. Then we'll go down into the nose, talk about the subtle transitions from between the eyes to the actual nostrils, which are a little bit more obvious. So everything in between the tear ducts and the nostrils is very subtle and is oftentimes skipped over. Then we'll go from the nose to the mouth to the chin. And he's got this beautiful contour line from the side of his face down into the jaw, and then the jaw into the chin. And he's got kind of a pointy chin and a weaker chin because he's younger. And from there we can also, the nice thing about the hat is that it basically frames off the entire top of the head, the whole brow ridge. We don't have to worry about hairline necessarily. Or even like forehead structure. We're going to get a little bit of structure above the brow. And then we're seeing the parietal eminence, this the oval of the forehead. We're just basically seeing the bottom of that egg. So the hat gets us out of, a lot of anatomical curiosities, which are sometimes challenging. What is the bone structure? What is the hairline? What is the hair doing? What is the front of the head? What is the side of the head? What is the top of the head? All those transitions kind of neatly get hidden by our little cap. What kind of cap is it? It's a beret. Is that a beret?
Yeah, that's what I would call it.
I think it's a beret. So that'll be fun. That'll be fun to sketch that out too. Talk about a product, a missed product. You could, if they made berets that had Van Gogh paintings, on them, I feel like people would buy those in the gift shop. Oh my gosh. Okay. So I think maybe there's a part of me that thinks we should. I'm going to zoom in and we'll get the face in there. So I might have to fold my paper, which will be fine. But the face is nice in that it's actually every component of this painting is really nice in that it's self-contained. You can tell that he painted with the you can tell how he mixed out different palettes for the different parts. So the face was mixed out with a certain set of colors, and then the jacket, and then the hat, and then the background. It's obviously colors coming from the same palette, but he definitely mixed up those ranges of colors, and painted them independent of each other. which is also, it's almost like tile work. All right, that goes here. This goes there. I think I am going to fold this so I have enough room on my page to open it up and do the whole. Now I'm battling a little, like what we did last week with the Monet. It was really great to have such a picture that was zoomed in so closely so we could get, all those details. And I might do that right here just so we can really get in on it. But it is somewhat of a Zoom class battle when you have larger images, in terms of, zooming out again. Yes. Oh, that might be the way to go, T-Dog. Well, let's try this. So we have I wonder if we should do it like that. What do you think, y'all? Should we go larger like this? I think that might work. I don't think it's gonna hurt. We'll try it this way. Oh, look at how steep his brow is too. Very interesting. Oh, I should text everybody the black and white version. Right. We're not rolling over any dogs. Nope. Not rolling over dogs. Yay. All right, you guys ready to play? Let's see how we do. I've got I'm using my tritone color pencils at the moment. But I also have my Prismacolor. And I'm also wondering about what's gonna show up on the screen here. That's a whole nother thing. All right. So I'm gonna try to draw this 1-to-1. So it looks huge on the screen, which is great, but if you see how that's my middle finger, it's not that big. So let's see how we do. So where I'm gonna start, y'all, is with our, the Y shape of the keystone. And the reason I'm choosing these Van Goghs, because Van Gogh, as progressive as he was with his color choices, he was very traditional, very classical French with the elements and the strategy with which he, executed portraits. So all the stuff that I'm pointing out is his thought process, and it was a thought process that he was, taught. It was observed, and he got to play with those ideas. But the fundamentals never change, because that's, it's just what needs to happen in order to do a portrait that reads well. So I'm looking now for the keystone, which is this, which is the Y shape, and the keystone goes up into the eyebrows, which we're going to come back to later. But it's like basically where the unibrow is, and you can actually see some of these light strokes, that define the front plane of our keystone. So here's the front plane of the keystone. I think I'm gonna have to change my colors here. And then if this is the front of the keystone, we're gonna get to see the side of the block. And that is the inside, sort of like, I wouldn't call it technically the eye socket, but it's the bridge of the nose. So it's gonna come down in here, and then I'm gonna switch over to this neutral tone. What do you think? What do you think about this color? Does this show up? We'll see. Okay, so he's got all these colors in here and he's having such a good time because all of them are so, they have a very narrow range of colors and values. They have a wider range than a normal, like normal skin tone. But the key happening here is that we're going to start with the front plane of the keystone, and then we're going to come in down the side ridge, and then we're going to jump over the inside of this bone structure, and then we're going to jump over this little patch of skin into the red tear duct. Okay, so this is the side of the keystone here, and then we're going to get this little skin ridge. Maybe I should do this yellow. And then the outside skin, it's almost like a little moat. It's like a little barrier that links up the upper eye with the upper eyelid with the lower eyelid. And I'm gonna, immediately put in our our deep red orange for the tear duct. I wish it was a brighter color. There it goes. Okay, there's our tear duct on that side. Amazing. So I'm gonna go up, across, and back down. This is, a loose representation of the upper eyelid. And then we're gonna come up to the eyeball, and then we're going to follow this gentle curve all the way around the eyeball, which is the eyelid. This is the lower eyelid. This is the upper eyelid. While we're here, we can make the indication of the fold because the eye is open. I'm going to use my gray in here to help define the iris and the pupil. Cool. That might have been a little aggressive, but I think we're going to be fine. I've got to go to, if this is the keystone, we did the inside of the keystone, jumped over, got the eyelid. We're going to do the same thing on this other side. So we're going to do the Y, the front of the keystone. Then we're going to do the inside, which is a bright yellow. And then we're going to jump over this little patch of skin here and get the beginnings of the yellow eyelid. So there's the yellow eyelid that runs along the bottom. Beautiful S curve. That's not right. I mean, it is right. It just doesn't show up. This lower eyelid is so cool. So it's the bottom of the tear duct, lower eyelid, S curves all the way up into the corner. Upper eyelid begins from the tear duct, comes up. Usually it has like a little level area where it flattens out, but here it doesn't do that. He's got this like long arch of the upper eyelid there. Wow, so cool. It's almost like his paint strokes crisscross. Do you see that? It like angles up here and then it angles from here and it makes like an X. Let me show you what I mean. So there's this across here and then across there. It's very curious. We're looking to see if we can find the fold, and the fold is prominent on the left side. It almost gets curiously confused with our crisscross. and then it's picked up again towards the front of the tear duct. So in theory, it should come right across, but he puts a little highlight on there. Nice. Once you know the parts to look for, it's incredibly liberating, because the paint and the colors have a, like almost like a chaos to them that feels like how could there be any order? Like it feels so like it's notes like all over the place, but there is a structural organization to, you know, the placement of the brushstrokes and how the brushstrokes are made and what they're actually representing. Even though the colors are exciting and seemingly you know, random, the paint strokes are not, and the identity of every stroke is not. So when I say identity, I'll show you what I mean. I mean, this is, you have the edge of the eyeball right here. So you have the tear duct, and then he gives us a paint stroke that represents the actual side of the eyeball. And if you look hard, it's not literally the side of the eyeball, but it is a contour edge. It's like the membrane of the tear duct and the skin kind of butts right up against the gland, kind of touches the edge of the eyeball, and it can feel like it's the actual side. So it's not the actual edge, you know, the widest part of the eye, but it is an interaction between the tear duct, gland, and the sclera. So then we'll get a little extra space. So we'll do another dark line. So we're going from tear duct to the edge of that intersection between sclera and gland, and then we'll get the edge of the iris, and then that passes below the lower eyelid, and then it reemerges out from below the eyelid onto the other side, and we get the left side of the iris. He places the pupil in the middle, and then we have amazing, the highlights in the eye are yellow, which is incredible, because usually it's like a reflection of the sky through a window, and it's usually the sky is filled with clouds, so it's usually a white highlight. But here, I wonder if he's actually, you know, it would be really interesting to see what the actual source of the light is. Maybe it is the actual sun. Do you think he could be outside? I wonder if he's outside. Well, we'll think about that as we go. I wish there was more. And I wonder if he's so green because he's like, you know, surrounded by trees. I wonder if he's in like a lush green field. Anyway, not sure. All right, so that's good. So before we start, actually, I mean, I know I'm using colors, but I'm using colors to do the drawing. I'm not using the colors to color per se. And I'm going to continue doing that for, you know, the time being. And we might be able to, you know, do a little bit of coloring. So I guess what I was saying is that I personally was about to fall into this like trap of wanting to color in the eyes, which I don't think is that bad of an idea, but I also don't want to color yet. I'm just trying to think this is a job to do. Like when I say a job to do, I mean, Van Gogh mixed up some colors to paint the eye. And he had the drawing already down, and the drawing was done in paint, and so then he filled it in. The sclera had to be filled in, and we'll get there. We're not quite there yet. Okay, so then the next set of parts, I switched over to this brown. I kind of cropped off this lower eyelid, so there's actually literally a brown stroke on the corner of that eye, making it a little bit smaller. And so it makes me feel good when my, you know, almost like my marks echo his marks and my corrections echo his corrections. Yeah, it's validating to a degree. Okay, so the corner, you know, there's this eyelid, which has the eyelashes, and then there's this much more subtle fold above it. And that's that's the skin of the upper eyelid and the fold of the upper eyelid. And then that's going to lead us out this corner, and we're going to build the brow ridge. And the brow ridge is the bone structure that is the skull that protects, that protects the eye. So this is all bone in here, and how we decide to paint that is going to be fun. But it looks like a breakfast sausage, which is, I call it the sausage. It could be like the rainbow bone. I like that too. It's this archway, and it is bone structure arch that, yes, has hair on it. We will be able to place strokes that represent the hair, and hopefully I'm not making it too big. I always err on making the brow ridge too small, and so in my own life I've kind of overcompensated for for the things that are, I sketch too small. I like try to catch myself before I make that same mistake, but we'll play it out. So from the brow ridge, this is really the front plane. We're going to move into the temples, and then the temples turn into the sideburn area. Now this kid doesn't, I think because his head is tilted forward, instead of the zygomatic arch, running straight across, it's actually angled up this way. So if you look at the corner of the brow ridge and where the tear ducts begin, the corner of the brow ridge and where the tragus is, this little arch, which is the beginning of the ear, the tragus is way higher. The ear is higher because he's tilting forward, so therefore the ears go up higher as well. Anyway, so I'm going through the temples, through the zygomatic arch, into where the tragus is going to begin. So I've at least cleared the frame of the face, to get to the ear. And we went through the keystone in the middle, which is wonderful, through this eye socket, tear duct, through the eye, into the brow ridge, and then across to basically the silhouetted edge of the face before the ear. And we'll come and we'll try to do that on the other side as well. So we've got the inside of the keystone, we have the tear duct, iris, sclera, iris, pupil, iris, sclera, eyelids meeting, edge of the eyelid, and then we're going to come up from that eyelid, do the sausage, and then we're going to see how this sausage is very wide, comes all the way up, and then it's going to angle back down into our keystone. So there's a really a huge contrast between this gentle arch of the right eye and this almost sinister S curve of the brow ridge on this side. So this S curves down in, and then you get the because the head is turned, we're almost getting a line for the brow ridge, the brow separating from the temple. And then we get the profile of the face. So that's a very short distance between the brow ridge and the profile of the face. This is neat. And then the tragus, of course, is up way high. And the tragus is the little barrier, this little outcropping, which is kind of the indicator of where the ear canal is. It's the last defense of the ear canal, the major defense of the ear canal. And then by locating that piece of anatomy, you can then begin the rest of the anatomy of the ear. Cool. I'm wondering if we should even, maybe do the ear while we're here. While we're here. I'm not going to be able to fit it on the paper, unfortunately. Bummer. Yeah, it's not going to happen. And I think that's okay. I actually do think that's okay. I'm gonna move this up. That's where I am right here. through the rest of this. Yes. Okay, good. So to fold this so it's exactly perpendicular. All right, doesn't look like much now, but it's going to. I think we're in business. All right. You guys have any questions at this point? How are you doing, Blake? Are you struggling?
Yes.
What a loaded question.
Right.
I guess it is a little loaded. Should we just keep going?
Yeah.
Is there anything is there anything I can do to help at this moment?
Yes. Can I show you mine just to see if my face, I mean, he's looking like a monkey, but I realize it's still early.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay, cool.
I see.
I love it. All right, hold on. Let me stop the share. Okay, hold on.
You shouldn't have said that. Now all we can see is monkey.
Yeah, you shouldn't. I think it looks good.
No, come on. I need help.
No, keep going. It's
Are
good.
the eyes okay? Or are they too close together? I mean, I don't even know where to start with my questions.
Yeah, no, that's what's so funny about this
Yeah,
is the only thing I can really say is that can you see my cursor?
no.
Okay. So
On
I don't know how to describe it. Okay, so you know the left side eye? The left side eye, so you have a really beautiful arch on the right side eye, and the left side eye, the eyebrow yours is almost straight across, and it really needs to be at an angle. So it needs to come
okay,
come down on the inside, and maybe go higher on the outside, but I don't think so. It might just need to come maybe a little bit higher on the outside and then angle in. And then, and Grace, I swear to you, you know, the nice thing about what we're doing is that it at this stage, everything, like it could be 100% perfect and it's going to look like a monkey because there's no way to, he doesn't have a nose. If he doesn't have a nose, then he can't, then it's not going to look right.
Yeah.
And if he doesn't have lips, it's not going to look right. If he doesn't have a hat, it's not going to look right. So there's just, at this moment, there's just not enough information to even judge it. So I'm actually feeling, and I mean, I can tell that it's looking good, but what? No, what's that? What?
I'm sure I'll draw monkeys today.
I can't get that monkey image out of my head.
We do. I mean, or we could just switch over and start drawing monkeys. That is like, I've done that too. I've had kids that they're like, it looks like a toucan. I'm like, well, then maybe you should just go with that.
No, I think it's those eyebrows. I think it's those straight eyebrows that give that monkey look. No, I wish
anybody else want to show? Anybody else want to show their monkey drawings?
No, as soon as I saw the eyes, I completely erased mine and started over.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah, I did. I had them too far apart, so I'm bringing them in a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, this is the time to do it. I mean, it is amazing. It is amazing how far apart the eyes are, actually.
They aren't that far apart. That's the amazing thing. They really are. They look like they are, but
yeah, they do. They really do.
I had mine too far apart for the size of the head that I've got,
Yeah, and like the thing about Van Gogh too is he does all these like intentional or unintentional, I'm not sure, I think intentional distortions, with like that, because that's the other, let me go back up here. Oh, nice, Grace.
Better?
Yes. Yeah.
Better?
And the thing that you have going for you is what I'm about to say right now, is that if you look at just the relationship between the tear ducts, the left side is lower than the right side. If you just objectively look at it, its relationship on the paper, it's lower. on the left, but yet the eyebrow on the left is higher. So, tear duct lower, eyebrow higher, so that he's always trying to tilt and turn and push and pull and like move one part forward, push the other part back. And we're going to really get into that, when we get into the mouth. One side of the cheek comes forward, but then the other side of the chin comes forward. So one side of the cheek comes forward, yet the other lip comes forward. The nostril on the left comes forward, but the other, so there's this like play of planes, one coming forward, one coming back, one coming forward, one coming back. And it's so subtle, but it keeps the painting, it keeps the figure alive because it makes it constantly is moving. These little subtle distortions are making it move, and therefore it's alive. It's a static picture. So how do you create life in a static picture? You create movement. How do you create movement? You create, slightly varied orientations of planes. Let's get back into screen share. That's awesome. That's great. And we did need a little. Yeah, so I think this is, look at how this lower eyelid here, do you see how this lower eyelid really pops out? And yet this cheekbone here, this really pops out. So this cheekbone feels like it's going back into space. This is popping forward, but then this eye and eyebrow goes back, and then this lower eyelid pops forward. So yeah, there's going to be all that. We're gonna start moving down. We have to go through the middles to get from the keystone down to the nose, but the variations of what's happening on the left side and the right side, I think, are going to become really, really unique. Look at I'm looking at the this little ridge. It's almost like it feels like a little bridge. Like the top of the eyelid is the top of the bridge, the train tracks, and then there's like this mound, the side, the mound that's been built up. I love that lower eyelid, and I haven't even done that yet. So I did the lower eyelid, but I didn't necessarily do the little gentle edge that supports it. So
Yeah.
the top of the train tracks picks up the light, but it's the side of the lid that is actually the weight bearing support of the lower part of the eyeball. And that's a major feature. That's like the lower eyelid is really seen in those two components, the top of the eyelid, which is the watermark, and then the side of the eyelid. And this does suck a little, excuse me. This is unfortunate that I can't be more zoomed in. Maybe I can. If I move this all the way over, I bet you I can zoom in more now. Move this up and over. I have to have the chin in there. Uh-oh, everybody's frozen. What's going on?
I don't see you, but we see each other.
Okay, that's good. I can't see you, but I can hear you.
Oh, really?
Am I moving?
No.
Can't see you at all. You're really black.
No, I can see you, Trevor, but you're not moving. You're frozen.
Yeah. All right, let's the little cursor is spinning. So let's see if it adjusts. I hope I didn't press a button I shouldn't press. Oh, there we go. Are you back? I can see you.
Yeah, you're back.
All right, my image is not back up yet, though. My fingers are still not moving. So maybe we'll just give it time. I'm going to stop the screen share and then restart it.
Okay.
Not the whole thing, though. Yeah, my internet seems to be strong enough. It could be something with Zoom. I'm frozen again.
You can hear him.
Yeah, we can still hear you.
Okay, good. Yeah.
Yeah, but your image is frozen.
Yeah. And the screen has not yet unfrozen. Your image is unfroze for a spell. And if I have to end and come back in, but maybe we'll have to go. Okay. Yeah, I don't even know how to I wouldn't even know how to close out of this now.
Uh-oh.
Because it's like the cursor's just spinning. Spinning and spinning.
Do you think we should log off and restart the meeting?
I think it's gonna come to that. I don't think you guys have to do anything. I think it's on my end. It's my computer, but everything's I'm fully charged. The internet is strong. I'm just wondering if it's a matter of like some like weird update or something. But you know, like it's amazing that the sound is still working because oh, here we go. All right, we're back. It's funny because I look exactly the same. Screen share.
Yeah, you didn't age 1 minute.
I'm reversing my age through meditation. Now, are you am I frozen again?
Oh yeah, you're
Yeah.
frozen on my end.
This is, I mean, this obviously never happened before. You would know.
Yeah. Giving us me time to sharpen these pencils.
That's what my image is. I see you sharpening. That's what my screen is frozen on.
Yeah, with color pencils, you do have to keep them really sharp.
Yeah. And of course, I don't draw very big, so I need it especially sharp.
Correct. Oh, how is everything doing this? I think we should just blame Stacy because she can't defend herself.
Well, I don't know about that.
I knew that. I got poked the bear. I poked
Yeah.
the bear.
Yeah, she's here. Oh my gosh, you don't sound so good. You have a cold?
Now I have asthma, and sometimes it kicks in and takes my voice.
Wow, yes.
Well, people, I don't know what to do. I can't do anything. Like I can't press any Stacy's buttons.
Do you want to go out and come back in?
Yeah, I mean, how do you do I have to do like Control Alt Delete or something? I can't even like force quit. How do you force quit? You have to press the Apple button, but they won't let me press the Apple button. And I rebooted in the, it's not like my computer's been on for 4 days.
So you're saying you're completely frozen, nothing is responding
Right.
anywhere?
Okay, it started again. Okay. I think it might be unfrozen soon. Let me try this one. It is letting me. All right, guys, I'm gonna I'm going to see you later. I'm gonna force quit and restart it.
All right.
Hopefully the recording records. Okay. See you soon. Log back on. I'll let you in.
Okay. We can talk about while it's going. Are we leaving the meeting? Should we leave and come back in, or wait see what happens with them?
I'm not sure. Are we supposed to sign off?
I think so. He's frozen. So why don't we just all leave?
Let's all leave and then we'll come
Yeah.
back in.
In a minute, we should come back in.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, it's 10:50 now.
Okay.
I don't think it ever stopped. Hey Adele, are you the host, by the way?
No. Why
Okay.
would I? No, I just clicked on your Zoom link again.
Can you see me?
No, I just see a little bird.
Yeah, it's so weird. Uh,
And you're recording, so it's
I know it's still recording. Advanced. Second camera. Slides. Basic. Yeah. Cable. I'm trying to. Usually, it asks me if I want to use, use my camera and audio, and it's not doing that now. Screen share. Advanced. Man, we were doing so well for so many years. The Zoom worked so well.
I'm amazed for the last 3 years how few, Zoom mess ups there have been,
I know. I mean,
considering every single person has gone on Zoom.
okay, Stacy's coming in, so that's good. But if I can't share my view. Hey, Stace.
Hi.
Hi, everybody.
Hmm. Hmm. It's not letting me use my camera. Nuts. And it's still recording. This is so embarrassing.